A lot of people people always bring up the fighter pay with the UFC, but isn't Logan complaining right now that he didn't get his checks from Floyd? Is that like a boxing issue versus
you don't
boxing thing?
You don't ever hear that coming out.
To this day,
you hear a guy going, I want to make $30 million, I didn't get paid enough. You don't ever hear guys going, yeah, they didn't pay me yet, ever.
Is that like a boxing issue?
Well, here's what happens when you go in and you do these fights, and you make them. And Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong. You do these fights that are exhibitions or whatever. The commission isn't overseeing it. So let's say I did a fight with Mike. I got Mike fighting, Francis or something. The athletic commission gets the money up front, so they pay the fighters.
Either way, the last thing you nearly need in your life is for things to go showing off how you were a big shot financially when you didn't have to, really. You didn't have to do that. And now you have this egg on your face and things are falling apart. Now people are wondering, did you get screwed or was it your own ignorance?
Now, he's accused in multiple lawsuits over millions for luxury watches, gold, and rent as well on the apartment that we just talked about. So he's got about, I counted about 6.
Dana White criticizes Floyd Mayweather for pursuing another Manny Pacquiao fight, saying the decision is motivated by money rather than competition. He describes the situation as sad and questions whether Mayweather's financial circumstances are the real reason behind seeking another bout with Pacquiao.
Do and say what they got to say to try to, to get in there and make money. It's not even going to be funny. It's going to be...
Logan Paul claims that Floyd Mayweather still owes him money from their exhibition fight, suggesting that there may be ongoing financial issues. His comments raise further questions about Mayweather's current financial situation, outstanding obligations, and whether money concerns continue to play a role behind the scenes.
Fight in the States with a different company. That is the company that put on the fight. That is the company that paid me. But he sold our fight with my name and likeness to someone else in Dubai for $10 million cash. It's our fight, bro. Our deal was 15%. He smoked me. So I got 15% of it. 15% of $10 million is $1.5 million. That company that paid him that money is suing him. I actually don't know the status on that lawsuit. I should check in because he still owes me money, but he has a bunch of legal trouble at the moment. That I don't think I'm ever getting the money.
He just sold his house in Vegas.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I think he's facing a bunch.
Rinsed on that house. He started at $14 million. He custom built the house, by the way, in like 2006.
Yeah.
Started at 14, reduced to 12,
yeah.
10, 8 came on the market,
Yeah.
and it was...
Dana White says that Floyd earned an enormous amount of wealth throughout his boxing career, with the biggest payday of his entire career coming from one of his most lucrative and highly publicized fights.
You've ever had?
Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, which ironically is a boxing event, but it's the biggest combat sports fight ever.
What did that gross?
It did 4.4 or 4.5 million buys at $100 a buy.
Yeah. So that worked out okay.
The biggest payday of Floyd's career came from his blockbuster fight against Conor McGregor, a matchup that generated enormous attention and delivered one of the most lucrative purses in boxing history.
Way back, again, 5 years ago now, but that was like the initial rumblings around that fight. And what Floyd did was use Mayweather Promotions to bring them this fight and say, if you'll front us this money, we'll put this fight here. They fronted him the money. He took the money, had the fight at the Hard Rock in Miami with Fanmio instead. That was the company that put it on, Fanmio. And Logan saw none of that front end 10 mil, and the people that paid Floyd the 10 mil never saw a dime back. It's nasty work what he did. But this has been like one of Floyd's MOs, is that he leverages his fight name or his quote-unquote assets, and which is what, a lot of wealthy people do. They leverage their assets to take out bigger loans or, whatever. But Floyd does it in such a reckless way that no one ever sees return on it. He just takes money. It isn't a loan.
According to Wade Plemons, Floyd mismanaged much of his wealth early in his career, and after his prime came to an end, he repeatedly returned to boxing in an effort to recover money through exhibition fights and other high-profile appearances.
So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10. That's nuts. That's nuts.
Crazy.
I remember Iran Barkley was talking about that. Iran Barkley, when he was in his prime, was hanging out with all these professional athletes, and everybody was getting diamond crusted chains and this and that, and he was keeping up with these people. Like, you got to keep up with the Joneses. And he just found himself like draining all of his money. He was talking about it like that was the biggest detriment to him being able to save any money.
They trying to keep up.
Yeah, which I thought was funny when I was listening to this conversation with Chad Ochocinco. He was talking about it. He was like,
his jewelry fake.
Yeah, he was wearing fake jewelry.
But who would know?
What's that?
Who would know?
No
Chad
one know.
Ochocinco.
Exactly.
It's
Fake
like when
jewelry,
they look at him, like
flying economy. He was.
Joe Rogan says that Floyd Mayweather spent his fortune carelessly, living an extremely lavish lifestyle and treating his income as if it would continue flowing endlessly. According to Rogan, that approach to spending may have eventually contributed to financial strain despite Mayweather's enormous career earnings.
Shots had a great fight of Mayweather. Probably the same people that were, applauding him and saying how great he was at one point, and now they're taking shots at him like they're almost, like they get pleasure out of seeing a great fall. Potentially
You're right.
fall. Oh yeah, like you said, he was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he went through his money, he blew his money, whatever. Look, I don't know what the truth is fully in there. I know Steven Espinoza was named. He ran Showtime at the time. He was named him. I never was a fan of Espinoza. Again, I'm not afraid to say and not mince my words when I feel a certain way. And I've taken arrows for it, and of course I've also taken some praise for it. That people say, hey, Teddy's going to say what he feels. I was never a fan of him. I never thought he was a man that kept his word. I never thought he really did a great job over at Showtime. I mean, they put some good fights on because the fights were available, because the landscape.
Teddy Atlas says that many people feel a sense of seeing Floyd struggle now because he spent years openly flaunting his wealth satisfaction and luxurious lifestyle, often making others feel jealous by constantly showcasing his success, expensive possessions, and extravagant way of living.
People again later, and hopefully I can get it this afternoon, to actually read the specifics of the suit and what the allegations are. But the fact that Floyd would encounter some financial issues post his boxing career is not in any way a surprise to me. When you see the types of things that, if you believe anything that he puts on his social media, the travel that he does, the places he goes, and the amount of entourage he has, I mean, that's like a money pit. I mean, whether you're flying on private jets or you're staying at first class hotels, or you're buying expensive jewelry and cars and bags and you name it. I mean, it's all good when you're making those gigantic paydays and they're coming in, a couple times a year. You're making 40 million here and 25 million there, or even more, 100 million plus, when he fought the big mega fights with guys like Conor McGregor and Manny Pacquiao. But when that stops, that money.
Dan Raphael explains that the current financial concerns surrounding Floyd Mayweather Jr. are not surprising when his career and lifestyle are examined closely. According to Raphael, this outcome could have been predicted by anyone who paid close attention to the way Mayweather openly managed and displayed his wealth over the years. Throughout his career, Floyd Mayweather Jr. carefully built a public image centered on luxury, extravagance, and excess. He consistently showcased a lavish lifestyle filled with private jets, high-end cars, designer clothing, expensive jewelry, and luxurious vacations. These displays were not rare or occasional but became a constant feature of his public identity, reinforcing the image of a fighter who proudly embraced wealth and made luxury a defining part of his personal brand.
About the 340 million, it just didn't ring true to me, because Al Heyman, who is not named in the suit, but apparently is supposedly part of this problem, whatever. But I mean, I've known Al Heyman and covered Al Heyman's fighters and his business since the day he stepped in boxing in like 2002 with Vernon Forrest. And all that time, and literally in terms of the PBC, a couple hundred fighters that he's dealt with, maybe not personally, but that his team is and his company. To a fighter, you never hear anybody, even when they're retired and they're not with Al anymore, nobody talks bad about him. In fact, if you ask most fighters, they'll tell you how good to them that he has been. That type of money that they've helped him make, and the person that he's paid and the guy.
While this helped create an image of success, power, and complete dominance, it also raised important questions about long-term financial stability. Dan Raphael believes that maintaining such an expensive and luxurious lifestyle requires careful financial planning, especially after retirement when the steady flow of income naturally begins to slow down. Without proper money management and long-term planning, even enormous career earnings can gradually disappear over time. According to Raphael, the real issue has never been how much money Floyd Mayweather Jr. earned during his career, but rather how that wealth was spent, managed, and protected for the future. Now, with reports suggesting financial pressure and his continued participation in exhibition fights, the current situation appears to reflect the same concerns that have been raised years earlier. What once looked like endless wealth and financial security now serves as a reminder that discipline, responsible planning, and smart financial decisions remain just as important as success inside the ring throughout and beyond a legendary boxing career.
Go through in this video. Now, I've been covering boxing for double-digit years. Allow me to take you through it. A simple Google search shows Floyd Mayweather. You type in his name, you're going to see some fight photos and whatnot. But the top stories, and there's multiple stories, and we're going to take a look at some of them. But as mentioned, Business Insider is now reporting what you see on the screen, that Floyd Mayweather is being accused in lawsuits of owing millions of dollars for luxury watches, gold, and rent on palatial apartment, right? The bullet points. Floyd was sued for allegedly...
Floyd Mayweather Jr. was once widely recognized for constantly showcasing a luxurious lifestyle, creating the image of endless wealth, financial success, and complete dominance. According to the Boxing Ago host, however, recent developments appear to reveal a very different reality behind the scenes. The analyst points to an unexpected financial downturn, highlighting legal action that Floyd Mayweather Jr. has reportedly taken against several major business partners. Throughout the years, Mayweather maintained strong professional relationships with influential figures such as Steven Espinoza and major broadcasting networks like Showtime. These long-standing partnerships played a crucial role in generating enormous fight revenues, expanding his global exposure, and helping establish his position as one of boxing's biggest attractions. However, a current lawsuit reportedly seeking $340 million alleges that a substantial amount of money earned through those business relationships was never properly paid, raising serious questions about the financial disputes now surrounding the former champion.
Represents the $500K, $500,000 in arrears plus late fees minus a deposit that Mayweather paid at the start of the lease and the $100,000 catch-up payment. So they deducted what he did submit when he was made aware of this, the $100K, and I guess a deposit. So the remaining balance is that. An attorney for Mayweather did not provide a comment by deadline. He has not responded to the lawsuit in court. In a separate legal matter, so we've already went over one with this luxury condo in Manhattan, right? But a separate legal matter, a Miami jeweler sued Floyd Mayweather last month, alleging the boxer owes more than $1 million for jewelry that he took, but...
This situation raises serious questions about financial management, contract transparency, and the importance of long-term planning in professional boxing. The sharp contrast between Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s past public image and the legal disputes he is facing today creates a narrative that many observers find both surprising and unexpected. What once appeared to be complete financial control and lasting stability now seems far more complex, suggesting that even the most successful and financially rewarding careers can encounter uncertainty when business agreements, financial arrangements, and contractual dealings become unclear, disputed, or are not handled with complete transparency and proper oversight.
Contract, guess what? Al Heyman is clear. And now it explains why Floyd don't have Al Heyman in the lawsuit. He can't sue him. Come on, man. Al covered his tracks. Now, he may be getting sued by big corporations, stuff like that, but he's not being sued by any fighter. They can't sue him. You get what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather messed up. And adds insult to injury, Floyd Mayweather has a gambling problem and he spends a lot of money. He loves to spend money. So whatever he have that's in his possession, he's spending that and blowing that on top of the $340 million that he said that's owed to him. Meaning that he never really got paid from the Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor fight. Come on, man. Al Heyman got power of attorney. You dig? And he covered his tracks. So shout out to the brother man Al.
Coach Malachi explains that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is currently involved in a major legal dispute, alleging that approximately $340 million was either taken or improperly managed through business dealings involving Steven Espinoza and Showtime. He suggests that the way these agreements were structured may have limited or removed legal responsibility for certain individuals, particularly Al Haymon. According to Malachi, the specific wording and conditions contained within those contracts are extremely important when evaluating who can be held legally responsible. He adds that if the reported contract terms are accurate, they would explain why Al Haymon has not been named as a defendant or included in the lawsuit despite his long-standing business relationship with Mayweather.
You've been praising him and worshiping him. Continue to praise him and worship him then. You get what I'm saying? You dig? True. And another thing, let's thank Al Haymon.
Well, you know, I guess I gotta be like everybody else and thank Al Haymon.
That's what y'all been doing. You pro Al Haymon and PBC YouTube channels, and a lot of you fan bases online. That's what you've been doing. Continue to praise him then. Al is a smart businessman. He finessed the game. Let's give Al Haymon a round of applause. Good job, Al. You did a good job. And this is a lesson to all of those out there, you know, who think because you signed with the black man that you will not be taken advantage of and the white man is the evil devil. If that's your position, there ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with however you feel either way. But just understand, when someone wants to steal from you, they don't
The discussion emphasizes how complex financial agreements in professional boxing can protect key individuals from facing legal consequences. At the same time, Malachi argues that personal financial habits have also played an important role, noting that Floyd Mayweather Jr. has long been known for heavy spending, frequent gambling, and a lifestyle centered around luxury and expensive purchases. He further suggests that even while claiming he was not properly paid for major fights, including bouts against some of the sport's biggest opponents, concerns about money management still remain. According to the perspective presented, the current situation is the result of both complicated contractual arrangements and personal financial decisions, creating a complex combination of business strategy, legal agreements, and lifestyle choices that have all contributed to the challenges now surrounding the former champion.
Distracted spending. And when you see somebody like Floyd Mayweather, that's the oldest trick in the book, y'all. Y'all know. When y'all see somebody flogging money everywhere, they got this, they got that, they got this. Was it Gervonta Davis? Tank told us 2 years ago that the reason they held Floyd Mayweather, you can put it back on the screen, captain, in Dubai is because he had owed them money and they wouldn't release him until he announced the fight to give them their money back. You know they do that over there in Dubai, right? You ain't going nowhere if you owe a debt. He was trapped over there for almost 2 months, according to Gervonta. They shared the same manager, Al Haymon, who collected money in cash because Floyd Mayweather gave him a power of attorney to do so. And so when Floyd went down there and sued Showtime, he's suing Showtime, the company, the network, that publicizes the...
Tasha K. explains that even when Floyd Mayweather Jr. appears to possess enormous wealth and financial success, the reality behind the scenes can be much more complicated than it seems. Earning large amounts of money does not always guarantee complete financial security, especially when hidden obligations, ongoing business agreements, outstanding commitments, and delayed payments exist beyond the public eye. According to Tasha K., these unseen financial pressures can gradually grow over time and eventually place anyone in a difficult financial position, regardless of how wealthy, accomplished, or successful they may appear on the surface. Her perspective suggests that appearances alone do not always reflect a person's true financial situation, particularly when complex business matters remain unresolved.
His money in cash to his manager, Al Haymon, and Al Haymon spent the money. The Muslim in the bow tie spent the money. You see a man coming and he a Muslim in a bow tie, he's spending your money. Oh, it's gone. It's good, it's gone. You know they send the Nation of Islam down there. You seen the Muhammad Ali story? Don't act like you ain't seen that. The Nation of Islam was all up over there. They were all up over Floyd Mayweather's fights and bank accounts and stuff. And so he received it in cash, and Floyd Mayweather is saying he's missing it, and how dare Showtime gives him the money without his permission. He was like, well, wait a minute, but you gave him permission. Yeah, but I didn't tell y'all, I told him. So he's trying to use a way to get in there so he can hold him responsible, because he know he's not going to get the money back from the Nation of Islam at all. That money gone. That money...
She highlights a common financial trap in which people continue spending freely while their responsibilities quietly build up over time. In the case of Floyd Mayweather Jr., His constant display of luxury and extravagant living may create the impression that he has unlimited financial resources. However, behind that public image, there could be substantial ongoing expenses, investments, financial commitments, and other obligations that require a steady and continuous flow of income. When that income begins to slow or becomes less consistent, those financial responsibilities can quickly create significant pressure. Tasha K's perspective emphasizes that true wealth is determined not only by how much money a person earns, but also by how wisely that money is managed and preserved over the years. Without careful planning, disciplined financial management, and long-term preparation, even enormous fortunes can come under serious strain. This situation illustrates how financial overextension can develop quietly in the background, gradually turning remarkable success into financial stress when spending habits remain high while hidden liabilities and growing obligations continue to increase over time.
Seeing how much Floyd was making, right? And Floyd himself was flaunting himself like he was the guy who was making that kind of money. And for all intents and purposes, I assume he was. Everybody assumed he was, and it seemed like he thought he was because he wasn't complaining. He was showing off, you know? This is why, as I get older, I feel like, and everybody always tells you this when you're young, like, keep your finances private, you know, and this is why I think this is a big reason why. First and foremost, you notice that if you don't keep your finances private, everybody and their mothers ask you for money constantly. And they don't ask you for...
That happens either way.
And they don't ask you... Well, people assume you have money, but if you flaunt it, you definitely... They confirm you have money. And they don't ask you for money like you need to buy the Rolex or the Lamborghini. They'll guilt you into it. They need their mother's dying in the hospital. They need to pay for a funeral.
Paulie Malignaggi explains that much of the public scrutiny surrounding Floyd Mayweather Jr. comes from how openly he displayed his wealth throughout his boxing career. According to Malignaggi, if Mayweather had chosen to keep his financial affairs more private, far fewer people would be questioning his current situation today. Instead, his constant display of luxury, expensive possessions, and extravagant spending created widespread curiosity and encouraged fans, media members, and analysts to examine his finances more closely. Over the years, Floyd Mayweather Jr. carefully built a public image centered around wealth and success, frequently showcasing luxury cars, private jets, designer items, and large stacks of cash, reinforcing the perception that his financial resources were virtually limitless.
No, honestly. But offhand, you're asking me what my thoughts are offhand. I can never... Listen, when I had a lot of money, I was a lot of times spending more, and I wasn't tracking every single cent, right? I mean, I was kind of reckless. I was young. I was, you know, a pro athlete. I went from having nothing to having a bunch of money. So, yeah, I'm not always tracking it as well as I should. But... Bro, if I'm missing a lot of difference money, if there's a huge difference, I'm gonna track it automatically just because it's so obvious. 340 million, no matter how much money you're making, 340 million does not slip through the cracks like you said.
Third of $1 billion.
Like, it's not, you know, I don't know. Like, there's guys who have a lot of money, okay? For me, I could go into a jewelry store, spend 20,000 at the time, like nothing. Like, you know what? I didn't plan on going there. I bought a Ferrari. I went with my friend to go.
While this approach strengthened his personal brand and public image, it also meant that any change in Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s financial stability would immediately attract widespread attention. Paulie Malignaggi suggests that this high level of public visibility has now caused people to question not only Mayweather's current financial position, but also many of his past decisions involving money management, investments, and long-term financial planning. According to the discussion, the issue is not simply whether he is financially struggling, but rather the public perception created after years of openly displaying extraordinary wealth and luxury. When someone consistently presents an image of unlimited financial success, even the smallest sign of change quickly becomes highly noticeable and sparks widespread speculation. Malignaggi believes that maintaining greater financial privacy could have prevented much of this public debate. However, because so much of his wealth was displayed so openly, every financial move is now closely examined, leading to continued questions about his business decisions, investment choices, and overall long-term financial strategy.